Still getting used to these. Hopefully, it sounds okay. Just waiting for my coffee to finish percolating. Percolating. Yeah. Morning, everybody. I decided, since I'm in my, you know, bunker. It's not really a bunker. I'm at my in-laws' place, and they are awesome. But I have to be away from Babs right now for the whole pandemic situation, which is very annoying. So in the morning, I haven't had any coffee yet. I want to kind of just max it out, right? Like, I'm here, I got nothing else going on. Might as well be useful. So instead of being able to do sunrises, I kind of get up when I get up. Back at you, Bob. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, trying to get some regular sleep. So I was trying to sleep a little bit later. Had an awesome meeting actually last night about some stuff that might be happening. But anyway, so I want to come in here and drink some coffee and just really dial into some mindfulness and some daily Stoic and some gratitude. So I would, Bob, before you go, if you're still here, write down 3 things real quick that you're grateful for. So I'm gonna read a couple 3 days of the daily Stoic. But while I'm doing that, I want you guys to list out 3 things you're grateful for. Do it in the comments. Don't skimp on this. I don't care if it seems weird to you. Just do it. Write 3 things you're grateful for in the comments, because it literally will change the shape of your brain. If you do this on a regular basis, it can be really, really good. Just turning the awesome power of your brain towards, hey, what am I actually thankful for in my life? Tunes you so that you see more of it in your regular everyday. That's just a thing that happens. So for me this morning, I am, I do this too much when I was doing goals of gratitude. Every once in a while, I would be really grateful for coffee, and fuck, am I ever grateful for coffee? That's just a fact. I'm really grateful that frickin' Kirby just popped in, because he's one of my favorite people on the face of the planet. And I'm actually really grateful for a business meeting I had last night with a developer from California, from LA, about a project that I might be helping out with. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. Mostly coffee, to be honest. Damn, Daniel. So yeah, there's 8 people watching. I want to see 8 people writing down 3 things they're grateful for. I don't care if it's small. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. If it's big, if you want to express gratitude for someone who's really important to you in your life, do that too. But yeah, don't cheese out. Just do it for me. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Just do it. It can't hurt anything, for crying out loud. This is me pouring coffee, and just the smell of it is like cocaine. It's like what I assume cocaine would be like, because I don't really know. So anyway, while I'm reading this, legitimately, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Just fucking do it. March 11th, living without restriction. The unrestricted person who has in hand what they will in all events is free. But anyone who can be restricted, coerced, or pushed into something against what they will is a slave. Thanks, Susan. That's from Epictetus. Take a look at some of the most powerful, rich, and famous people in the world. Ignore the trappings of their success and what they're able to buy. Look instead at what they're forced to trade in return. Look at what success has cost them. Mostly, freedom. Their works demand they wear a suit. Their success depends on attending certain parties, kissing up to people they don't like. It will require, inevitably, realizing they are unable to say what they actually think. Worse, it demands that they become a different type of person or do bad things. Sure, it might pay well, but they haven't truly examined the transaction. As Seneca puts it, slavery resides under marble and gold. Too many successful people are prisoners in jails of their own making. Is that what you want? Is that where you're working hard towards? Let's hope not. Hope not. Jackie's Kelton. Hello, hello, hello. All right, Reg. You get 1 of them as coffee. See if you can come up with a couple more. While you do that, I'm going to drink some coffee. Hey, Warren. So again, just part of the practice this morning, and a couple people have done it. Thank you guys very much for doing that. I'm catching up on some daily Stoic, doing kind of some mindfulness, but write down 3 things that you're grateful for in the comments. Like legitimately, do not skip on this, please. So March 12th, we're catching up, albeit slowly. March 12th, back when we had 1,000 cases in the United States. Oh, fucking shit, that's good. Please hold, I'm going to have some more. Oh, man. I did pretty good this morning. It's good shit. Seeing things as the person at fault does. This is March 12th. Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. For when you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage. For you may yourself have the same notions of good and evil, or similar ones, in which case you'll make an allowance for what they've done. But if you no longer hold the same notions, you'll be more readily gracious for their error. Marcus Aurelius. Socrates, perhaps the wisest person to ever live, used to say that nobody does wrong willingly, meaning that no one is wrong on purpose either. Nobody thinks they're wrong, even when they are. They think they're right. They're just mistaken. Otherwise, they wouldn't think it anymore. Could it be that the slights you've experienced or harm that others have done to you was not inflicted intentionally? What if they simply thought you were doing the right thing for them, even for you? Sorry, if they were doing the right thing. It's like the memorial for Confederate soldiers at Arlington. Obviously a cause that was wrongly fought for by people doing wrong, which states in part that the Confederate soldiers served in simple obedience to duty as they understood it. Again, they understood wrongly, but it was their genuine understanding, just as Lincoln was genuine when he ended his famous Cooper Union speech by saying, "Let us to the end dare to do our duty as we understand it." How much more tolerant and understanding would you be today if you could see the actions of other people as attempts to do the right thing? Whether you agree or not, how radically would this lens change your perspective on otherwise offensive or belligerent actions? That always reminds me, I think I talked to Kurt about this a long time ago too. We've been fighting this war on terror for who knows how long, a ridiculous amount of time. And for fellow Star Wars fans, there was a meme that came out a little while ago about how, there's a movie about a person who gets radicalized into a religion and then commits mass murder terrorism. And of course, that would be Luke Skywalker, who blows up the Death Star and kills, I don't know, a few 100,000 people. I can't remember what the compliment was on the Death Star, but it was a lot. So some of our biggest heroes growing up were there is at least a non-zero probability that people who are becoming radicalized by religions today see themselves in that light. You don't know, I don't know. It's pretty messed up. Just the idea of it, just to be able to try and maybe help us understand. Anyway, first coffee is supposed to be about fucking positivity. And that kind of is, I guess. All right, so we've got 9 people in here. Hey, Ben. Jess, how you doing? We've had like 2 or 3 people write down the things that they're grateful for. Again, I really, really encourage you, if you're watching this, just write down 3 things you're grateful for in the comments. Just do it. It doesn't have to be, intense. You don't have to think too hard about it. You can if you want, for sure. But it's just, there's enough shit on the internet. There's enough arguing. I'm sure I'll be sharing news later today that isn't good. For one coffee, I want to provide the space for us to practice something else intentionally. Anyway, so I encourage you, please write down 3 things you're grateful for in the comments. I'm going to read one more Daily Stoic, and then we'll carry on about our day. After I drink more coffee, because legitimately this shit is good. Yep. 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 TJ, good morning. So one day it's all going to make sense. Whenever you find yourself blaming Providence, turn it around in your mind and you will see that what has happened is in keeping with reason. Epictetus. Part of the reason we fight against the things that happen is that we're so focused on our plan that we forget that there might be a bigger plan we don't know about. Is it not the case that plenty of times something we thought was a disaster turned out to be, with the passage of time, a lucky break? We also forget that we're not the only people who matter, and that our loss might be someone else's gain. The sense of being wronged is a simple awareness problem. We need to remember that all things are judged by reason, or guided by reason, but that it is a vast and universal reason that we cannot always see. Yeah, physics doesn't always care about you, especially if you're on a mountain. That surprise hurricane was the result of a butterfly flapping its wings a hemisphere away, or the misfortune we've experienced is simply the prelude to a pleasant and enviable future. That kind of lends me, one of my buddies, Gus, is awesome. We were doing Goals and Gratitude one morning, and he talked about the ability to be grateful for the things that are hard. That's what that one reminded me of. You know, he had massive back trouble at one point, huge back pain, and that ended up being what transformed his life. He's like a trainer now, big freaking tough dude, whatever. But it legitimately fixed him up. I was married for 10 years to two very mean people, and that sucked. It genuinely was horrible. But now, I've been with Michelle for about that amount of time, and I still am waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like the amount that I appreciate how happy we just get to be every day is sort of insurmountable, and educated by that the comparison that was trained into me. So that's a whole thing. So Jess had the ability to be working with all the madness in the world. My kids, my husband never gets the credit he deserves for putting up with me. Oh, I don't know about that, Jess. You're pretty awesome. All right, so there you go. We got 3 daily Stoics in. If you're watching this later, don't let this stop you from writing down 3 things you're grateful for in the comments. If you want to write them down on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter. You can do whatever the heck you want. Hey, boys, what's going on? You're just catching the end here. So tomorrow morning, again, I'm not putting like a time on this. This is honestly as much for me as for anything. So the first thing I do is feed the dogs, get them squared away, make some coffee, and then I'm going to come here and read some daily Stoic and encourage everyone to write down 3 things that they're grateful for. It's nothing shiny, but it's a little 10-minute piece of positivity, because the rest of the day could have shitty news in it all day. We just don't know. So, yep. Cheers, guys. Thanks.